this key concept for Bio 181, Chapter 1, is that biological evolution can be defined as a change in the genetic material of a population over successive generations. Kind of a long definition. So we've got a change in the genetic material. This is our DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Every single organism has DNA in every cell. So it's a change in that genetic material in a population. So a population is not just one individual. So an individual does not evolve. So this is multiple individuals. And it's over successive generations. So it's heritable, it's passed down from parent to offspring, and it goes from generation to generation. So the example here, here's our common finch. You may have heard of the Galapagos Island finches. They were studied by Darwin when he postulated evolution. And they found that they had beaks on this island that were very different based on what those birds were eating. The ancestor had a sort of generalized bill, and then many of the species that were found on this isolated island had specific beak shapes. Now that has been shown to relate to sequences of DNA. So these little strands here refer to sequences of nucleotides that are found in DNA. And so those vary and they're passed down from parent to offspring. Phylogeny is the history of the evolution of a species or group. And it's really looking at how organisms are related. So in this case, you start off with the common ancestor at the base of this evolutionary tree. So this is the oldest. And then from here, each one of these branch points, you have a new species being formed. So you have a branch point here, many millennia ago, where you had single cells that diverged in a significant way, forming new species. And then over time, those cells had changes in their DNA that accumulated, forming multiple groups, and then those groups branched off. So the oldest group at the base, the more recent group over here at the ends or the tips of the phylogenetic tree. So you can see here that animals and fungi and plants are much more closely related to each other more recently than, say, animals are related to proteobacteria. Evolution is responsible for the diversity of life. So evolution is often considered to be the most important concept in all of biology. And that's because it provides a framework for understanding the diversity that we see. So the example here, mammal limbs support the theory of evolution. They all have a sort of common structure that has changed to fit the environment of the different organisms. So they've adapted for different uses. So you've got these bigger, stronger bones in the forelimb, and then many of these digits in the hands or the fingers, or what evolved into wings or flippers. And so it shows a common history and that these bone types have been conserved. So adaptation is a heritable genetic change in response to the environment. It does not mean the way that you might use it in everyday language, like, oh, I'm adapting to that stress in my life, and now I've changed my behavior, and I'm eating better, and I'm sleeping more to try to deal with it, right? Adaptation in this definition is heritable genetic change in response to the environment. So the beaks that we talked about earlier have been evolved as a result of the different environments that those finch populations existed in. Some were better at manipulating tools, some were better at crashing or crunching seeds, and some were better at evading cactus spikes. Right, that's it for evolution.